Welcome to Wario Land, also known as Super Mario Land 3. So after two successful Super Mario Land games for the Game Boy, what do you do with the Super Mario? The Super Mario has fought aliens, the Super Mario has had a land named after himself. What do you do with the iconic Super Mario other than throw him in the garbage and replace him with Wario? Wario may not have Super in his title, but he's a great person, and he's been recently made homeless by the events of Super Mario Land 2 when some schmuck kicked him out of this castle that he totally rightfully found in the middle of Mario Land. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Kitchen Island, fund him a new home by exploring and exploiting the treasures of the land, and maybe finding a big golden peach statue that was stolen or something, I don't know. And there goes Wario's hat, which is a little bit of a weird thing to me, because this is like Wario's first, game. This is what broke out and made Wario Land, which is a great video game series, which you could probably tell that is my opinion since I'm playing the game. But yeah, first game does not have his hat. Instead has an explorer hat. A little weird, but you know. Whatever, we'll hit up Course 1, Rice Beach on Kitchen Island. A little bit of a theme going on here that I'm not yet able to discern. But rather than talking about the theming of a Game Boy game, let's instead talk about Wario as a person. He's able to dunk a cat on a pirate goom and just call it a day. So Wario Land obviously differs a bit from Mario games. It's still a platformer, but it's less of a acrobatic, trounce and pounce, merrymaking time, and more about rough and tumble, throw your weight around by pressing B to tackle kind of game. Also picking up and dunking fools on other fools. That's what Wario's all about. Expert basketball player, if you've ever played any of the sports games, which I haven't, because I played some sports games, so that's not what it is. So Wario, yeah, he's really strong and stuff, it's great. So Wario works on a hat transformation in this game, sort of like Mario does in Mario 64 and Mario Land 2, and probably other Mario games where he puts on hats and changes. It's kind of his thing. But it was Wario's thing, not first, because Super Mario Land 2 came out first, but that's not important. Yeah, hat transformations in this game. This is called Bull Wario. He slaps on a Viking hat, so I'll probably call him Viking Wario from time to time, but it is Bull Wario. Bull Wario has a longer tackle than the normal Wario, which is Explorer Hat Wario, and it's really nice. Obviously, you can be a rude dude and defy gravity and tackle off. You can do that as a normal Wario too, it's just Bull Wario has a longer tackle, so it's even better. He can ground pound as well, which only Bull Wario can do. None of his other transformations can do that, which is a little weird because it's kind of a normal Wario thing. He can also just chill out and hang on the ceiling by just holding up after you've jumped into a ceiling. It's really neat, and there's a few points in the game where it's needed to get some extra stuff, but never outright needed to beat the game. But I always just thought it was the coolest thing. You can do some sick dodges on enemies with that. Whoops, I jumped in the hole. Luckily, if you press up on your D-pad whenever you make a jump, you actually jump a little bit higher than usual, which is really nice. And God, I love that gravity defying. It's a really nice feature. This thing is a garlic pot. I'm not sure if that's what we picked up earlier, but a garlic pot is kind of your vanilla power-up. So there are 3 basic states to Wario. There are then like 2 other top-tier transformations, assuming that Bull Wario is a top-tier transformation. And the garlic pot will take you from small Wario, which is what happens when you get hit, to basic to Bull, and then we'll talk about the other transformations later. Those chompers down there are stopping us from going down there unless we just wanted to tank a ton of hits, which might be possible, but we'll just come back later. It's one of the things that kind of starts to build Wario's identity apart from Mario in terms of his own games, is that his games are kind of a bit more exploration-y, and you're kind of looking for things, whereas Mario, it's like point A to point B, whereas Wario's typically point A to point B, with some exceptions and maybe branches along the way depending what game you're playing. This mole has a hot tip for us. Press up B at any time, and you can pull 10 coins out of your inventory, which gives you a weapon to throw, kind of like if you had found an object to throw, or if you picked up an enemy, which you can throw and use as a weapon. And it's not like your 10 coins are gone, because you can then pick up the coin after you throw it, as long as it doesn't despawn. But you also need it to pay off little checkpoints like that at the end of levels, and actual checkpoints, which we'll talk about later. At the end of the game, at the end of each level, there are 2 mini-games. This is the money game, or at least that's what I'll normally call it. I don't know if it has an official name. But it's a double or half your money mini-game. And you can play it 3 times per end of the level. You don't have to do it all 3 times if you don't want to. But I like to go whole hog on it, because money is obviously very important to Wario. So you should probably try to make them as much money as you want. It's completely random. You have a 1 in 8 shot of any combination of the things if you go all 8 times. So I walked out with, I think I got double twice and then cut in half, so yeah, not the best thing that can happen, but, you know, not awful. So we walked out with double money. You can walk out with up to 8 times your money, though, so I obviously think it's worth your time to always do the money game, and always ignore the other game, because it sucks. No, it's, the other games are for lives, it's not that important. But I will be tackling it this level, because it's important to show off video games, and I guess didn't push the button or something. I'm a fool. I mean, we all know I was a fool to begin with, and Mega Man platforms. I hesitated for a second because I'm like, oops, I don't want to mess these up, and then I messed them up. Let's see if I can just jump off this pirate boom to get where I want to go. Oh, and I got him stuck in a block. That happens sometimes. Sometimes, the throwing mechanic in the game messes up a little bit, and enemies can get stuck inside of things, which is a little concerning about the state of their world, but we will worry not about it. It's just a little glitch in a Game Boy game. Can't worry too much about those, I guess. So here's the other top-tier Wario transformation, assuming that, you know, the Bull was a top-tier, not in that it's the best, but in that, you know, it's the final form. And this one's Dragon Wario. You lose your tackle, which the only other form that loses its tackle is Small Wario, which we'll talk about whenever we eventually get hit. But when you press B, you shoot out a jet of fire, or when you're in water, you get a jet of triangles. It's a nice offensive move. It's really good at breaking blocks and junk. Because you have a little bit of a recoil with your tackle, whereas just you have a stream of fire, which has a very slight cooldown to it. Not really all that applicable, in terms of like, oh, is it better, is it not? It's really all opinion-based. I personally like the tackle transformations better than Dragon Wario, just because the tackle is kind of Wario's mainstay move in all future games. So that's just how I feel about it as a person. Maybe you like Dragon Wario better, though. I wouldn't say that there's any clear-cut best until today, and by that I mean that transformation, but I'm just using Dragon Wario to go ahead and grab some more things. Because this is Eagle Wario, and this is, I would argue, straight up the best transformation in the game, because A, he walks faster than normal Wario, he has a higher jump, like his max height jump is about the same height as, Wario's normal, up, like if you're holding up on the D-pad and then jumping. Let's dunk that fool. Oh, we got the fool back. Sometimes you can pick up fools when you throw them at other fools, like as they're falling off the screen, and continue to dunk on other people with them. Yeah, but Eagle Wario's best feature, not that I was distracted or anything, is that whenever you press B, you have a jet tier tackle, which means you can do it in the air and also in the water, which is really nice. I would still argue that Dragon Wario is the better aquatic offense, but it is still really nice, and unfortunately I lost Eagle Wario, and now we are Small Wario, so we can complete the transformation talks. Small Wario is obviously your punishment for getting hurt, and I can't believe I just screwed that up. He cannot tackle, but he can still throw enemies. Throwing enemies is always available to you, regardless of your transformation. So whenever you get hit again as Small Wario, you just straight up die. So you don't want to get hit as Small Wario, and I'm not going to worry too much about going back for that for those blocks that we missed, just because they're probably just hearts, and hearts aren't too important. You get 10 hearts, you get a life, or you get 100 hearts, you get a life. You get a heart for each enemy you kill, and also those hearts that you pick up are worth 10 hearts. So rather than tying lives to the coin system, since coins are obviously important for something else, which we'll talk about in a bit, because I think we're nearing the end of the level, and I don't want to get into a big discussion about the uses of money. See, that Danger Duck was a stronger enemy. Like, normally it takes 2 tackles to kill him, but we just straight up destroyed him with the fire, because the fire just wrecks everything. And we had to pay for the end of the level this time. We didn't have a kindly mole to pay for it. And oh, I'm looking at those 51 coins. Those would octuple so nicely, but unfortunately, we need to play the other minigame just to show it off. So this is kind of like a little bombsketball golf minigame, because you play it just like a traditional golf game where you throw bombs at cats. I'm not too terribly good at it, because I never do it. But it's not that hard. You just charge up the power meter by just stop it near the top, you throw it at a cat, and you get a hit. The more hits you get, the better reward you get. For this basic minigame, I would have had to make all the hits to get an extra life, which kind of sucks. But we paid 20 coins, so whatever. I would have preferred to keep those 20 coins, though. But you know, that's life. The higher you pay for it, the better your rewards are. So, if you need lives, you can spend 100 coins and then golf it out. Wow, I really screwed up. I only hit one cat. I think those are cat gooms. I don't know. Because the basic enemies with the spears are pirate gooms, and enemies with spears are kind of a mainstay, and or basic enemies with spears are kind of a mainstay in the Wario Land series. But you know, whatevs. We'll never ever play that minigame again, because we need cash. We need cold, hard cash, because cash is important. I mean, not only just because you're Wario and he'd like to have it, because he's like Scrooge McDuck, but like, money depends... The amount of money you get the amount of money you get determines the ending you get for the game. Wow, that was really bad. As you can tell, I have not been alive for a while. Very bad of me. So, you need 10,000 coins and some other extra items to get the best ending in the game. And I would kind of like to have 1,000 coins by the end of this world, Rice Beach. I don't know if it'll happen, because really it's harder the cards if the money-making game like doubles down properly. Because sometimes you can walk out with a cap of 999. Sometimes you just you bungle it and you biff, and everything goes bad, and you're just walking out with 1/8 of what you entered in with, which is really sad times when that happens. But there was a nice little hidden area down here. I don't think there's much down here other than hearts and Bull Wario. That thing, the little Viking helmet, is just an automatic, just go straight to Bull Wario, whereas from Small Wario, you would normally need 2 garlic pots to get to Bull Wario. So that's kind of nice. A nice thing. Also, getting a garlic pot at any time as like Eagle Wario or Dragon Wario will automatically make you Bull Wario as opposed to Basic Wario, which is nice, that you don't have to like mess around with like all the little baby stuff. And I'm gonna go back here because we skipped over a small portion of the level. Not that we're missing out on anything like huge, because there's nothing super huge to miss out on in this world until you've beaten it, which we'll talk about a bit later. What exactly that cryptic sentence meant. I just wanted to come back here because it obviously like links together. You don't need to find that shortcut. It's just a nice little shortcut. Here's a checkpoint. Checkpoints are awful in this game. I believe we saw one in the other level as well. So the reason I believe checkpoints are awful, and this is just a taste thing, you need to pay 10 coins to activate the checkpoint, just like you would an end of the level like money gate, which you can't get around the end of the level money gate. You have to pay your dues to get to the end of the level. But a checkpoint is optional. We obviously don't need that checkpoint. It's just a nice safety precaution if you die, and I'm actually going to go back here just for ease of access, because we can obviously fall down here. But since it already costs 10 coins to open up the checkpoint, which sucks. If you don't die, get to the end of the level, you spent 10 coins. But if you die, I'm pretty sure you lose all your money anyways, and you're starting from halfway point of the level, so you're missing out on the first half of the level's cash. And we want all the money that we can get, so if you die, you probably just want to start the level over again, which further like makes me believe that, you know, lives aren't all that important. I mean, I know they're an archaic, you know, game mechanic, just because, you know, that's how old games roll. This is a Game Boy game. I won't fault it for having lives, not in the slightest. But yeah, we just don't really need to worry about lives, because you run out of lives, you just start at the beginning of a level anyways. It's not like it throws you back to the beginning of the world, I don't believe. I mean, I've never actually had a game over in this game, so I can't confirm. But I assume you just start at the beginning of the level again. So if you run out of lives and you don't have a checkpoint, what does it matter? So yeah, that's just my feelings on it. It's also a baby game made for babies on the original Game Boy, so you're probably not going to be dying a whole lot. I mean, there are some instances where you will, of course, die. Like those swamps that we saw earlier, those spikes are instant death. Like, spikes on enemies aren't instant death like those little crab guys that we saw. They'll just hurt you. But like, spiked walls, instant death. It's like Mega Man. And oh crap, we got an octuple. Nice! Our first octuple. Really early on in the game. So we, like, are walking out with a cool 360 coins, which is really, really nice. I believe on average, you probably want to be making 200 coins a level, which of course that isn't saying like, oh, if you don't get 200 coins, go back in until you get them. because you don't really need to worry about making the goal, because it'll happen naturally more likely than not. Every time I've played the game, I've naturally gotten 10,000 coins, but sometimes I've cut it very close, and it is all heart of the cards, so I could get screwed and like walk out with no money. But on top of that, in Rice Beach, there's a really good place to farm coins. So if you want to see the best ending in the game, and can't make the 10,000 coins, I'll show you where to farm coins if you just need to. Also, there's a handy little way to cheat in this game, which I actually recently learned. I'm not going to be abusing it, though, just because, you know, baby game for babies. But, you know, whatevs. I really don't like the opening to this level a lot, because it kind of freaks you out because there's a thwomp chasing you. If those spikes touch you, it's instant death, so you rush out. And then you get to out here, and it's like, yay, I escaped the thwomp. Oh, now I need to wait for it. Which kind of sucks, because if you have Bull Wario, you get out here super quick, because you have, like, no recoil when you break the blocks as opposed to normal Wario, or if you have Dragon Wario, you're out here, like, almost immediately. But we need this thwomp to continue, because you can ride on top of the thwomps, because they have a smooth, top. You don't need to worry about the top. And I'm actually just gonna see if I can go ahead and get this. Sometimes those blocks on these little, like, auto-scrolling segments are kind of a pain. Yeah, so I don't personally like this level a lot, just because, you know, waiting, auto-scrolling, you know, whatevs. I'm not as big of a... Or I don't hate auto-scrollers as much as a lot of people do. And why did I go for that? Oh, I guess I got Heart Sword. I didn't know you get Heart Sword redundant power-ups, because I normally leave power-ups just so they're there later. And I probably shouldn't have risked that, because, like, you know, oh, I could have gotten the money. I thought there was a block up here, which there was, just garlic. But, you know, whatevs. But yeah, you have to wait for the frickin' thwomp, and then you have to ride it, and then on top of it, at the end of the level, it makes you do it again, which can kind of be, like, totally rough, especially if you don't have a power-up, because then you get here, no power-up, and you're just stuck, which, I mean, they do give you 2 power-ups. So it's just more of like, oh, I hate waiting, and then you get to the end, and then you can get screwed. So thwomps actually have, like, something sweet with them. If they crush an enemy, they make a 10 coin, which is obviously just worth 10 coins. And there's a sweet glitch, which I've done before, and I don't exactly know how to replicate it, but sometimes when thwomps crush enemies, they don't remove the sprite from the game, so you can just farm them infinitely, and it's really weird. There's a later point in this world where I believe I've had it happen to me multiple times. I think it's like maybe you throw them up when you arc them, they like bounce into them and they don't remove the sprite for some reason. I'm not exactly sure. And it's not like the most perfect way to like farm infinite coins, because obviously you're gonna run out of time in the level and it's a little bit hard to do, so you might just end up getting screwed. And are we gonna get our first 1/8? Yeah, we got our first octuple and our first 1/8 money back to back. So we're walking out with 7 coins from, like, what did we have? Like, almost 60? So, like, yeah, you can, like, totally get screwed on this. Heart of the cards, like, super hard. That's how it goes. But you don't have to worry about seeing that minigame, because that minigame's at the end of every level in the game. And I understand that it gets super tedious. I just wanted to show it off for this first episode, just so I could talk about the mechanics. There's still a few more things I'd like to talk about with it. Which I'll probably get a good point to talk about it at the end of this level, in fact. But I'm going to be cutting it out in future episodes just to save you guys time. Also because, as you've noticed, you need to wait for your money to drain into your account, like your total cash at the end, which really sucks whenever you hit the cap of 999 and have to watch all of your money drain in. And I'm kind of playing it safe with this swamp because he's instant death, and I don't want to instantly die. And let's see if we can... Nah, I was hoping I could do it. Luckily, the game's actually really good about remembering where things were an Oscarits. No, I don't... Well, he'll probably spawn back over here because video games... No, the game's actually really good about remembering where things have been thrown. That badger enemy that we saw on the entrance into this level, he throws a knife and it gets stuck in the wall. And that always, like, impressed me. Like, whoa, you know, because it was a Game Boy game. So just, like, little touches like that are always what impress me, no matter how, like, minor they are. I don't know why. Just... I'm a fan for little touches, and this guy is kind of rude, because these blocks kind of like, these spike balls, like, go around, and you, like, see the top one, you're like, oh, I just want to trick it out and go beneath it, screw it, but then you get beneath it, and then the second one comes out, and I've been cornered by them before, which kind of sucks. You can also jump over them, but, you know, whatevs. These bear guys are interesting. They're like little football-playing bears, and they kick those little spike balls, and obviously the spike balls will hurt you if they hit you. But the spike balls still kick after you kill them. So if they spawn a spike ball and then you kill them, the spike ball will still kick. I'm not sure if it will still hurt you, but you know, whatevs. I'm not a big fan of those enemies, though, because they have that spike on the front of them, which makes me think I can't hit them from above, and then they have the spike on their helmet as well. So it kind of scares me. It's like, oh, well, I shouldn't hit them, but you can, and I've learned that from repeat playthroughs of this game. So they're just kind of a weird enemy design, in my opinion, but, you know, you gotta have spikes on your football uniform, because that's how you play the football. Obviously, that block there just made those blocks go bye-bye. Great talk to the mechanic, yeah. And here we are, at Rice Beach's boss, the Spiked Bro. I don't know if he has a proper name, but his name translates to, like, Spiked Turtle or something, in the same way that, like, the Hammer Bro's name would. He's a really easy boss. You just hit him from the underside, just like that urchin guy that we saw early on in the level. You don't want to jump too high, because he just kind of goes back and forth. And if you jump too high, you kind of lose the time you need to land and kind of trick him out. And we got screwed there. He has another thing where he'll flip over and then try and squish you when he's going into there. And oh, that 10 coin, I lost it. Oh no, that was so bad. That was so bad. Because I ran after that 1 coin, I missed more of the coins. So the pro strat to collecting all those coins is that it's always going to come out of the middle of the screen whenever you beat a boss. And you just want to jump up and down, like in time with the money spawning, and don't chase after coins if you miss them. But I was a fool and chased after the money and got screwed hardcore. Because these boss levels are like the best place for like the money minigame, because look, we walked out with 163 coins, and even by 1, we've doubled it to like 380, which is super not. Oh, I'm duh. I forgot how numbers work. My bad. God, I can't believe. Advanced mathematics has made my basic mathematics really bad. It's really confusing, and I was damned by my bad math, and luckily we're at least walking out with double what we made. I would have liked to walk out with at least quadruple, so I could have talked about another mechanic in this, or well, not a mechanic in this game, but my personal feelings on gambling. So, like, you're doubling down, and I will always go whole hog with these minigames, unless it's, like, the risk is greater than the reward, because, like, once you get to, like, 600 coins, it would double to, like, 1,200, and obviously it caps at 999, so you're at risk of losing 300 only for gaining 300, which the 600 is like the balance out. Well, I guess you're going to be gaining 300, so it balances out. Not because you have a max that you could have gotten. You could have gotten 600. So anything over 600, I don't double down on, but just because the risk is greater than the reward. After you beat the boss, though, High Tide comes in on Rice Beach, which affects 2 of the levels. And now there's just water in the level, and it plays, like, the water music for this game, which is, you know, serene, whatever. We're gonna be hearing way too much of it later on, though. So don't get too comfortable with it. I just wanted to show off something near the end of the level, so I'll see you guys there. If you remember those chompers that we saw in Course 1, now that High Tide's come in, we can just swim over them. Like I said, you could probably just tank the hit, or if you came back with Eagle Wario, maybe, like, trick it out and fly over them. But it's not that important. I don't know if we need Dragon Wario. Dragon Wario probably would have been nice to break all these blocks, but you know, whatevs. We can just smash them all. Because you come in here, you get a 3-up. Just a nice little trick if you need extra lives and stuff. I'll see you back on the map. So something funny, actually, about the end of this level is that Mole that had previously paid our exit to the end of the level is now here as an enemy. He is an enemy you would see later on in the game, but it's just kind of a nice touch that now he's here as just a basic enemy. And I'm actually going to skip the money game. That could octuple nicely. You know, we'll go for it. I was going to say, I don't want to feel like a jerk, because, like, you know, I've already been through this level. Don't want to, you know, harness the goods of this level twice. But we had to play through to show off that 3-up, damn it, so we've deserved the octupling goodness. And ooh, we could walk out with a quadruple. But I'll be damned if I don't want that octuple, even if it's on, like, a small amount like that. You know what? That's fine, because we had already scored cash off this level anyways, so I'll be happy walking out with 48, which, actually, didn't we get that exact same amount when we played the first time? I mean, I think we walked out with 96, because it got doubled, but I think I left the level with 48 coins. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. It really does not matter. The important thing about this level and about High Tide coming in is the water in this level actually changes up the game big time. So obviously the quicksand's gone, but now there's that skull door, and that skull door is one of the coolest things about this game, in my opinion. I love it so much. A skull door is my waifu. That's where I'm going with this now. Actually, shit, do we need Yeah, I think we actually need Dragon Wario over here. Our good old buddy, old pal, of allowing us to attack underwater. If we had Eagle Wario, we would have been fine, but unfortunately, I lost Eagle Wario almost as fast as I can get him, because, you know, madness. But here is a key. The key's like a great throwing item and stuff, but on top of being able to throw it in wreck scrubs, you can throw it into these skull doors and they open, which is really nice. But inside of these skull doors is what makes this game sweet. Hidden treasure. So we need to get 10,000 coins by the end of the game to get the best ending. But we also need every single treasure. Each of these treasures is worth like a ton of money. We technically need more than 10,000 coins to be able to beat the game, but or beat the game with the best ending. So you need 10,000 like normal coins and then all the treasure. And exploring for these treasures is like one of my favorite things, just because I love looking for like little secret areas. And obviously, like, you know, some of them are way better hidden than others. Like, had you never decided to replay level 1, you would have never, or well, come back to World 1, you would have never found it. But there's some neat things that change in World 1, and I actually don't know if the overworld map reflects the fact that High Tide came in to maybe like tempt you into coming back. That'd be really cool if it did, but I've never really paid that much attention. I just am the kind of person that, like, later on I noticed I was missing the first treasure, and I was like, well, where the hell is it? And came back to World 1. So I'm guessing that's how the game wants you to find it, especially since there's a treasure that I think is the clear-cut, the first treasure that they want you to find. But there's also that ledge we couldn't make the jump to earlier, because if we come back here, there's a secret exit, which is really cool. There's not too many secret exits in this game. In fact, there might only be like 2 that I can think of off the top of my head. But you know, it's whatever. And you know, let's try and quadruple our money. Well, I would like to octuple it, but you know, I'd live with quadrupling it. Even though it's just now become impossible for us to quadruple it. We can only walk out with doubles at best. But you know, we walked out with like 18 coins, so I would have actually been a little sad to octuple it because I would have wasted my Heart of the Cards points on that. And you know how it goes. So nope, just walking out with 9 coins. At least it's happening in levels that we had small money, since I wasn't exploring, since, you know, we'd already checked out the level. But what could the secret exit do? I mean, if you've played a platformer before, you know. It opens up a new level, and the final level of Rice Beach. There's nothing left of Rice Beach after Course 6. And Course 6 is hands down the best place to come to grind for money. Just because this is kind of just like a bonus level. And there's no other levels in this game like this, where they just feel like a bonus level. Yeah, ground pound, this crab comes out. Crab's holding 10 coins, you hit him, you get 10 coins. In between each of the coins floating in the air is a heart box, which just, you know, you get more lives, you get, or well, points towards lives, you get cash. It's really nice. So there's levels where you can walk out with a lot more money than this level, but this level's super chill and you can grind it pretty easily since there's like no resistance going through the level. You just gotta ground pound a couple times, and they even give you a Bull Wario hat at the beginning, so it's not like you can be like, oh, well, I have to specifically have a Bull Wario when coming in here. So you walk out with like 80 coins around there. I think there might have been 1 coin I missed, because I have a feeling that normally it's a bit uneven in that level. But yeah, you walk out with 80 coins each time, and then you can double down your money, so it's a nice place to just, you know, come if you need to grind your coins. I've never had to do it. Like I said, I've always been able to have hit what I wanted naturally. Oh, I never showed off the cool cheat in this game. You know, I think I'll show that off before we end the episode. Just because we can, and I mentioned it, and I would hate to mention it, and then like, oh, hey guys, sorry, I forgot to show off that thing I mentioned. And oh, hey, we octupled our money, which is super nice. We'll be walking out with 640 coins. That is a very, very nice number to have. Not for any specific reason, but just because it's large. So, yeah, we hit my 1,000 I wanted to make before the end of the world. So, yay. The 1,000's real, like, arbitrary. I just kind of wanted to get the ball rolling on our cash. So as you can see here, this is why I'm going to be cutting this game out in the future, just because watching it pour in, it's kind of slow. There's no way to skip it. I I've tried. It's really sad. But, you know, getting the octuple on that level. Sweet, we got the octuple twice in this level. 1 in 8 chance in 6 levels. I think that's pretty good. And I'm just going to enter this in to show you guys real quick, just this quick cheat, even though that would have been a great way to end the episode. You press start, and you hit select 16 times, and there's kind of a slight debug menu that you can access. So a square will appear around our numbers, and you press B, and you can move around the menu, and you can change the values. So you can hit 999 coins before the end of the level. You can change your lives. You can up the time. You can up your heart amount. But I'm not going to be using that just because it would be bullying. I would be bullying the game, the sweet, sweet game made by the wonderful Gunpei Yokoi and friends, and that's it. So yeah, you know, whatever. Oh, also you can leave levels by going through the entrance. I always thought that was really cool. So next time we'll be leaving Rice Beach and heading up to Mount Teapot for the next world episode, guy. See you then.